Am I going to really pay £20,000 for a piece of paper? Really? Really? £20,000 for a piece of paper? Why? Why? Why?
Take two.
Take two. Take two, Max. Take two.
When I get older, losing my head, many years from now.
Now.
Will still be sending me a Valentine, birthday greetings, bottle of wine.
Steve, hello. Oh, that didn't sound celebratory. This is meant to be celebratory because you are getting this, Steve. I'm sending this video to you in the year 2035. 5th of June. That's right, you're going to be 64 on that day if you're still around. I mean, you might not make it, obviously. Max is not going to make it to that day. So, Max, step forward so Steve can enjoy you, because I don't know if you're in shot. But hopefully you've also got a doggo, another doggo, Steve. I think you'll always be with the doggo. You're a doggo guy, right? So you'll always be with the doggo. Okay, why am I sending you this video? Okay, I'm sending you this video in this very kind of like, CJ the X kind of, what do you think? You know, it's like, no, why? No, you shouldn't. Oh, but I have to. No, but you shouldn't. And the Walker's tomato ketchup crisps. Obviously, we're celebrating because the leasehold freehold thing is it's been fixed, it's been sorted, it's been done, it's all good, it's all settled, and we're all ready to celebrate good times. Come on. So what we thought we'd do to celebrate, because this is what people do when they celebrate, is they all gather around, well, you and me, and tell the story of the thing they're celebrating, whatever that story is. And this is the leasehold freehold story, which I'm going to tell to you, and you're going to hear it in 10 years' time, and maybe you're going to hear it differently, and you're going to feel differently to how I feel at the moment. I hope so. Okay, so here we go. So, about 15 years ago, let's say you, right? Because when I say me, I didn't feel very, very angry at myself. So, let's say you. 15 years ago, you bought this little one-bedroom flat. It's not really a flat. Basically, some opportunist in the 80s took this, cardboard house, and they went like, oh, let's pretend it's a doll's house, and we'll just go like, here's one flat, here's another flat. So they basically took a house and they turned it into these 3 little flats. And I guess I got, well, I think the nicest flat because it comes out onto the shared garden. But because the people upstairs can't really get to the garden, and the people next door are not that interested in the garden kind of becomes the person who's living in the little, little cubby hole at the bottom of the property, which leads onto the garden. And I was fortunate enough, that's really what sold it to me. And I bought it for £153,000. I had been saving maybe for about 15 years, get on the property ladder, because this is what you're supposed to do as, well, I don't know, Gen Xers, humans. I mean, the boomers, as we know, they made all their money really in buying property. So like anything you could get, even if it was in a place where you didn't really enjoy living, and you would get onto the property ladder. You would now be an adult, a mature human being, something like that. So I buy this little flat for £153,000. And I'm told when I buy it that it has a leasehold of, I don't know, whatever, 86 years or something like that. And I'm like, okay, cool. great, so it's got a garden, it's got a leasehold of 86 years, and it's got, yeah, rotting, floorboards in the kitchen. I guess I didn't really understand what this leasehold concept was. And I'm going to be honest with you, Steve, and let's see how you feel about it now, or rather then, because how I feel about it now is not good. I was ignorant. I was ignorant of what this leasehold thing meant, and I did not research the meaning of this phrase and how it pertained to me and the buying of this property. Because, I don't know, forgive me, I grew up in a country where, pretty simple, you buy a property, you own everything. You own the land, you own the property, you own the this, the that, and the other. You own it all. I thought, okay, I don't know what the leasehold thing is, but I've bought a property. Presumably I own I own everything that this property's on. I own this little piece of land the property's on, and I own the property, or at least this part of the house, which is the property, and I have access to the garden, and life is good. Little did I realize in my ignorance, my profound ignorance, that this is not what a leasehold is. Leasehold is basically you are renting. Someone owns the freehold, that's the freeholder, and in 100 years' time, when they're writing mine was written in 1984 or something, in 100 years' time, we may return and require the land upon which your property rests. And if we do that, you may have to take your property somewhere else. But how? This is a whole house. That is for you to work out. This thing was drawn up by fairies and witches and wizards, because that's what we do in this island. We're an island of elves and sprites and fairies and goblins. Witches and wizards. These are the people who make the leasehold freehold. Bullshit up. Which is what they did. And I was completely ignorant, and I went, I've got an 86-year leasehold, hooray! And off I went, living my life and paying off my mortgage, and yay me. I then discover about 10 years later that this leasehold thing means like X, Y, Z. And also, if you don't renew it before it gets under 80 years, you may have to pay a large amount of wonga to the freeholder who has the little magic piece of paper in their hand. Right? You're paying them £200 a year anyway just to squat on their land. But now, if you say, "Oh, could you maybe give me another page of that book of leasehold holding?" They might go, "Oh, well, if you had asked us when it was above 80, as you should have, if you had known such a thing, maybe if you had had a British education, you would be taught this at school." Is this taught at school? I don't know. I arrived here when I was 15. This was not taught to me when I was 15 years old. Or maybe those selling houses would have to ensure that they would sit down the buyer and say to them, "You do understand what an 86-year-old leasehold is about, right? The 86-year-old, you are not buying, you're buying this, but you're not buying the land on which this is, right? And in 86 years' time, you're going to have this guy coming and saying, ooh, you didn't get one of these, what you should have done, and now you're screwed, and now you owe me everything." So I found this out about 7 years ago, and I realized, oh shit, I hadn't bought the piece of paper when the piece of paper was going for like 3-4 grand, and now it was going to cost me like 20 grand. Like, oh crap. Am I going to really pay £20,000 for a piece of paper? Really? £20,000 for a piece of paper? Why? Really? And I decided at the time, he decided, that fucking idiot at the time decided, no, that's crazy. Fuck it, I'm going to just stay here. I'm just going to stay here. And okay, he worked out, he's not even going to be alive, so he'll just die in the flat. They'll come and they'll say, right, you've got to go, and he's dead. And then they would just, I don't know, evacuate everything and it would all be good. But then life continued, and he realized that maybe he doesn't want to continue living in this flat forever, right? But now, all of his liquidity is sunk into this flat. And if he wants to move somewhere else, he won't be able to unless he can get rid of the flat. And you can't get rid of the flat, sell the flat, if you have a leasehold that is less than 60 years. Because a mortgage lender will not issue a mortgage on a leasehold that's less than 60 years. Why? Because insert magic spell. I don't know why, but that's just how it goes, because it's just written like that, right? In sort of green ink on parchment somewhere. Because all of this shit was created to make lawyers and freeholders money. That's the game they play. That's the game they play. To which the Tao Te Ching wisely says, auspicious weapons are the tools of misfortune. To which the Tao Te Ching wisely says, the master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he's going to die, and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusions in his mind, no resistance in his body. He doesn't think about his actions. They flow from the core of his being. He holds nothing back from life. Therefore, he's ready for death as a man is ready for sleep after a good day's work. That was 50. Thank you. So anyway, recently, like very recently, me realized I might die. I might like to go and live and die somewhere else, but I don't really want to be a landlord. So I don't want to rent this place out, but I can't go and live anywhere else because I don't have the money to do so. So at some point, I'm going to have to try and sell this place. Which means I'm going to have to get the I'm going to have to get this, right? And that's when you and I entered this very bizarre, very, very, very bizarre space of the leasehold extension bullshit money-making machine. In which you pay two people, one for the freeholder, one for you, to come and evaluate the value of your property and decide how much you should pay for this little piece of paper, right? Based on the value of your property and, I don't know, the feng shui and this, that, and the other. They also make a valuation based on what the property's worth. I was told the property with its current leasehold is worth nothing. I mean, it's worth like whatever you can get at an auction, which would be about 150 grand. With the leasehold extension, it could be worth up to 200. Okay, great. And all of that is then factored in, and then the leasehold extension is, a price for this piece of paper is negotiated over with solicitors and blah, 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 blah. And my guy who came and evaluated it said, we think, 25 grand will probably cover, that would be fair enough for this piece of paper based on what this is. And their guy came and said 50 grand for this piece of paper. And the reason we're celebrating tonight, Steve, is because we have settled, my friend, for this piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. Just like money is a piece of paper, right? All money is just, as we know, it's all just symbolic, right? Don't get caught in that, Steve. We're not going to get caught in it, right? Because tonight we're celebrating because this piece of paper, we have been informed whether we like it or not, and we don't like it. We really don't like it. Why don't we like it? We don't like it because legislation has actually already been passed to say that all of this stuff is immoral, illegal, it's bullshit. You're selling a piece of paper, well, like, what the fuck? For these ridiculous sums of money, all of someone's savings, perhaps, like, you know, I don't know, if you've got like £50,000 in savings, and then for the piece of paper they want £40,000, you might lose your life savings over this. So obviously they've legislated and say no. And the legislation has been passed quite recently. But the problem is legislation is toothless. It's nothing's backing it up. Nothing's backing it up because if I want the piece of paper, this piece of paper, Steve, is going to cost you, not me, because you're going to have to make the money up in the next 10 years. It's going to cost you £41,000. Plus, you have to pay for their guy, all of their legal fees and everything. So that's another 2 or 3. And you've got to pay for their evaluation. You've got to pay for your evaluation. So it's £50,000. So if you have a pension fund of about £50,000 at the age of 54, Steve, it's gone. It's gone, sorry. But you're still young and you've just paid £5,000 to have this inguinal hernia operation. You're fucking fighting fit now, Steve. You can earn this money in the next 10 years and you will. You will earn back your pension fund in the next 10 years, Steve. I promise you this. You will. We will. We will. We could do it. £5,000 a year? Come on! Come on! We can do it. And we will. Maybe more. So that's why we're celebrating tonight, Steve. We're celebrating because even though we have been royally screwed over by our own stupid human ignorance and the greed and fuck you-ness of capitalism, you, my friend, are quite likely watching this in a completely new environment because you have decided to pay those little devils, Chris and Alan, those lovely guys, you're going to be making the little voodoo dolls. Oh, don't you? You've decided to pay them £40,000 so that they will give you the little piece of paper so that you can go and hand it over to teacher and say, please, can I please sell my property now? Thank you.
Hey, buddy. Howdy.